Hello, good day, welcome to a new video of Chemi Project. I'm Ruben Canton and here I'm going to explain what are the objectives of the game, but not like in the chapter number 3. Obviously it's not a copy. This time we will explain what to do to win. Let's start with the last mission of the chapter number 3, the murder. You need 10 storage cards and first remember there are 3 types of cards: the project, which is the objectives that I'm reading right now, the storage, that are the ones that is used for connect with one card with other in order to complete the objective, and finally the break rules that can help you or disturb to the opponents. So you need 3 or more bad things, but if you remember in the video where I did explain how to play Chemi Project, at some point I explained the structure of the storage cards. I will remember the basics. Bad things, it's a family, okay? And well, you remember there is 4 types of family: the bad things, medicine, biology, and industry. So you should put 3 or more bad things. Remember, killers always are bad. Next point of the objective, you need 3 or more alkenes. If you remember the functional groups, they are in the ends of the storage card, and it's used to link cards appear. As you can see, the functional groups are in the ends of the cards. In this case, here and here. And inside, the possible connections are described on the back of the project card, and I explained it in the previous video. You can see the alkene functional groups are represented by one equal, and it is the color blue. Then you need at least 3. I don't care if it's more. 4, 5, 6, everything is fine. And also you need storage cards that have at the same time a functional group with amine and acid. At least you need 2 of these cards. And remember, it's so much important that both functional groups are in the same card for completing the objective. PAM disappear, PAM appear. Here there is an acid, and here there is an amine. I don't care if it's discard, or maybe discard. You have a red color that represents the acid, and their symbol is a H, and the amine group that is represented for one N, and it's a clear blue. When you put a molecular chain with all this stuff, then you complete the objective, and if you finish the first one, you win the game. So let's go the heavy. How to complete these objectives? What you can to do? What you have to do? You have to get a chain that have a molecular weight bigger than 7,100 of molecular weight. Molecular weight is in one position in the storage card that I'm going to explain in the and the idea is to sum the different numbers of each card to get an amount of 7,100 of molecular weight. You can use any computer or whatever, or mobile. And I put here several examples. So the object type is to gather cards until make a big molecular chain, only one. It's not for 2 or 3 molecular chains, it's only one that have this number. If you have 1 unit less, you will not win. If you have 1 unit more, you will win. And if you have exactly 7,100, you are the best. You win. You are a brilliant. That's perfect. So, next object type. First, more than 2 alcohols. Remember, the alcohol is a functional group. It's not only for get drunk. There is an infinity methanol, ethanol, propanol, even the glucose is as the sugar have 5 alcohol groups and also an aldehyde. Then you need alcohol more than 2, and remember the alcohol is represented for 1A and is the color yellow. And also you need 3 aldehydes. The aldehydes represent for green, and the letter is a O. Also you need halogenamines and at least and less than 2 bad things. Remember, bad things are in the family, and if you have more than 2 bad things, or you should remove the cards, or you should remove all the molecular chain in order to win, because if not, doesn't matter that you have the. Also change the functional groups that the cards already have. For example, you can have a reduction card or oxygen card that can transform one alcohol to one aldehyde, or one acid to one aldehyde, getting advantage of these cards. Of course, this is not one objective only that can be used for this particular objective. You can use this in the full objectives that you need for certain amount of functional groups. So next object type. I'm here, and oh my god, now I am here too, and plus, and I am only one again. So why I have to do this? What? Okay, don't worry, you will understand. Objective, the parallel test. You need two molecular chains of 10 cards every one, and that's all. 2 molecular chains of 10 cards every one, or more than 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, and less than 4 bad things. Remember, bad things in the family. Take care about that. And that's also important that the chain should be linear. That means that doesn't matter that it's straight or not. You can make curves or whatever, but the ramifications are not allowed. They are forbidden. If you have ramification in these 2 molecular chains, you should remove it, or additionally discard your molecular chain. So that's all. Next object type, sanitary inspection. We are talking about medicine. You cannot use bad things. Family, bad things are forbidden, okay? Completely forbidden. And it consists to make a molecular weight of 5,300. Remember, bad things, medicine, it's a family, and you should care about that. And again, you need to sum all the molecular weight of each one of the storage card to get the object type. In addition, you need a free alkene. An alkene, it's represent for equals, as I said before, and have a navy blue, and should be free. This means that cannot be connected with another storage card, but doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the card of the molecular weight. That doesn't matter. So remember, 5,300 and one free alkene. Nothing more. You will win, and not bad things, of course. So, next object type, the peptide. This is the hardest objective to understand. Not hard to do, hard to understand. We need 8 storage cards connected by acids or amines. Okay? It also has to be linear. The connections don't count. It's not necessarily be straight line, but the ramifications doesn't count. In other words, they do not border, but they don't serve to complete your object type. In a linear way, you complete your object type. There is not necessary that the 8 cards are in continuous way. One molecular chain can have like 20 cards, but the all important for you are the cards that have acids and or amines, that are the only useful for complete your object type. We can connect it with one alcohol, for example. So we have one connection. Next, this card has one amine, and the amines can be connected with aldehydes. So we made a second connection. Now we have one, the previous one, and this one. Okay, so we continue. We select the other card with amine, and we can connect right now with other card that have one acid, and this will be the number 3, and the other will be the number 4, because one card have one acid and the other have one amine, and are different cards and can be connected. And if this card have one acid more, you can connect with one amine, so you will have one connection more. And in some point will appear again acids and amine, and you should connect it with the molecular chain until you get the 8 connections. And remember, this should be linear, without ramifications. Thank you very much. Don't hesitate to make a comment, and if you really like it, please give me a like or whatever. Cheers, see you in the next video, bye.